United USA. Okay, so France will require people to use a health passport, aka the vaccine passport, to enter restaurants or attraction this fall. Okay, so you see another bullet point down here. Will soon require people to use the COVID-19 health passport to get in non-essential places. People will have to show that they are vaccinated, recently recovered from the virus, or tested negative. The policy will go into action in August. The Prime Minister said, okay, so this was, you look at the top, Kelly McLaughlin wrote this article July 12th. Today is the 20th of July. So let's see what's going on right now with the protests. That is a massive, massive amount of people. Yeah, I'm with you. Many of us in the United States, we are with you. Whether you have a constitution in your country where you live that protects you, it is a violation of human rights. You cannot force someone and tell someone what to do with their health, no matter what the circumstances are. That is a violation of civil liberties. That is a human rights violation. Period. I don't care what anybody says. So here's an article from Global News. This was just written just the other day, a day and a half, 2 days ago. And so it's talking about the protests. Over 100,000 people protested across France on Saturday against the government's latest measures to push people to get vaccinated and curb rising infections by the quote-unquote Delta variant of the coronavirus. So we got the Beta, the Delta. Got some different things going on here. It's getting a little bit weird, people, if you ask me, a little bit conspiratory. Thousands of people answered the calls to take to the streets by Florent Philippot, I don't know who that is. All right, a fringe far-right politician and former right hand of Marine Le Pen, pardon if I'm mispronouncing it, who announced earlier this month that he would run in 2022 for the presidential election. Gathered stones, throw it away. The Louvre Museum protest chanted Macron to clear off freedom and banged metal spoons and saucepans. While Philippot has organized small but regular protests against the government's handling of the coronavirus crisis. Saturday's demonstrations drew a larger and more diverse crowd of people broadly disaffected with politics. Yellow vest activists angry over the perceived economic injustice, far-right supporters and medical staff royalists, blah, 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 blah. They denounced the government's decision on Monday to make vaccines compulsory for all healthcare workers and to require a health pass proving that people are fully vaccinated, have recently tested negative or recovered from the virus in order to access restaurants and other public venues. President Emmanuel Macron's government is presenting a draft law Monday to enshrine the measures.
Mixed reaction in France to the president's announcement all healthcare workers need the jab.
When it comes to high-risk patient groups, especially when you think about long-term care, when you think about our oncology and immunosuppressed populations, I think it's possible the benefit outweighs the downside.
In Canada, COVID case numbers are lower and vaccination rates higher, but the push is still on.
We expect every care worker to be vaccinated, and if it's not the case, there will be consequences for that.
Only a few provinces have mandated vaccines, and only sort of.
All right, let's stop it right there. That was the healthcare minister. That's in Canada, peeps. Now listen, this video is not just for Americans. I mean, obviously the internet is worldwide, so most of my subscribers are actually in the UK, in Canada, in Australia. There's also a smaller percentage of my subscribers that are Americans. But here it is. You got Canada. You got a lot of European countries doing this, and they're straight up letting us know. I mean, even Biden said, if you don't get the jab, you will pay the price. Quote. Didn't use the word jab. He used the other word. But here it is. You got the in Canada. They're saying the same thing. Now Europe, now they're talking about, oh, we're not going to do, Biden said 6 months ago, for example, we're not going to do mandatory vaccinations. Okay. All right, great. It's not looking like that now, right? People say, what do you mean? America hasn't talked about, yeah, they haven't talked about it, but believe me, they're going to follow suit. All these other countries are talking about mandatory, not just mandatory vaccinations, but mandatory vaccine passports. That is a HIPAA violation. Here in the United States, I don't have to discuss my medical history with anyone, whether it's an employer, anyone. That's none of anyone's business. The fact remains, this is a human rights violation. Seriously. Whether you have the Constitution similar or have constitutional rights similar to the Constitution we have in the United States, and you have similar laws that protect you to an extent, that you do have civil liberties being forced against your will here in the United States, to me, that would be defined under the 13th Amendment, which talks about, nor shall anyone be committed to involuntary servitude. Involuntary servitude is being forced to do something that you don't want to do against your will, period. All right, so let's continue with this here.
Quebec has the broadest rules. Since April, healthcare workers who interact with patients have had to show proof of vaccination or be subject to testing 3 times a week.
Wow.
Ontario and BC target long-term care staff. In Ontario, they must show proof of vaccination, provide a medical reason as to why they can't, or take part in an educational program about the benefits. In BC,
Take part in an educational. Okay, the Nazis also did stuff like that. Okay, the American government also did that when Pearl Harbor happened after, and put Japanese Americans in concentration camps. They call them, we call them now FEMA camps, re-educate. Basically, they call it an education camp, but what they're really saying is it's a re-education camp. See, they leave out that word. Being okay, I need to go to a class because I need to be educated about it, and that's going to sway the difference. Or I'm just going to show face and just do it because I've been told to do it, and so I got to do it to be politically correct, or to save my ass, or save my job, or to not have repercussions of legal action against me from my government. I mean, what is going on here? I'm going to roll the rest of this. This is outrageous.
New rules take effect next week, requiring unvaccinated workers to wear a mask and take regular rapid tests.
We're going to continue to use the education model. There is choice when it comes to who gets vaccinated.
We are going to continue to do what is necessary by giving Canadians the information, by making it easy to get vaccinated.
The head of the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario says she would likely support a government move to make vaccinations mandatory for her members, acknowledging there are still some vaccine hesitant or even anti-vaxxer nurses.
We are talking about insidious mutating virus.
So these folks who are concerned about mandatory vaccines have nothing to be concerned about, and there will be no vaccine passports.
Vaccine passports, the other hot topic advancing globally, while Canada doesn't yet have a clear national plan. Provincially, Alberta is most opposed. Ontario hasn't yet planned for one, while Quebec is moving ahead with a regional-based system requiring proof of vaccination only for non-essential activities in specific places during outbreaks only.
They keep saying this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. I don't know. Vaccine mandates possible and vaccine passports. Let me know what y'all think. And please, to support my channel, help me to get around YouTube's algorithm, please smash that like button, like and share. When you do, you help the cause.